Hello, everyone. Steven Dragella, Fountain Forward, my esteemed colleague.
Phil Tributowski, Fountain Forward as well.
Automotive Market Minute, July 2023, which is really about June, which really takes just a little bit more than a minute. Let's go. All right, so first of all, new car sales up 22.8% year over year. But the real thing you should keep in the front of your mind, used car prices fell 4.2% in June, which is the second largest single month drop in the history of automotive. Go ahead, Phil.
What else is falling? Well, appointment show rates for our average dealership, those fell throughout Q2. The core closing percentage for our average dealership also fell throughout Q2. Later on in this video, we're going to be talking about the average MSRP and the impact that has on dealership performance. And finally, Steve.
Fountain Forward University officially launching August 1st, 2023. Phil, woo! Woo!
All right, guys, so here you can see the appointment show rate for our average dealership. We're now at 40 dealerships across 16 different states, and look at this trend throughout Q2. Our average dealership appointment show rate went from 55% down to 52%, down to 51% in June.
Well, go back real quick. So one thing I want to, and both of these will correlate, this one and then the next one, is remember, we're definitely seeing that people are setting appointments and then they're feeling that it's not buyer's remorse yet, but it's apprehension. And so a lot of them aren't showing. And then Phil, go to the closing percentages. These are a pretty big drop. Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, this has been really interesting. Overall, core lead volume has actually been trending upwards across all of our dealerships. However, the core closing percentage has actually been falling. So you can see here, 13.8 down to 12.1, and in June down to 11.8%. So we're seeing more people actually reach out. The opportunities for dealerships are there, but we are seeing dealers have a harder and harder time converting that opportunity into actual showroom visits.
And people are absolutely kicking the can down the road. It's that simple. They're just, and we went in and we've sat in the sales tower, and you could sit there on a Saturday and you could just feel the fact that the close is much, much more difficult. Go ahead, Phil.
Here is a simple graphic that we showed outlining our independent with the highest average MSRP and our independent with the lowest average MSRP. Now, whether you're an independent store or a franchise store, I promise this still applies to you. We're seeing a couple dealers really start to struggle moving some sales, moving inventory right now. The average MSRP has a massive impact on that. Most of all of our dealers who are struggling, we look at where their average MSRP is at, and it is very common for their average MSRP to be higher than our average dealership. Now, Steve, why might that actually impact how users are converting into leads?
Yeah, so it's pretty simple, guys. If you think about somebody that may have had a $20,000 loan a year or two ago, and let's say that their rate was at 5%, and now it's at 10, 11, 12%. We have to remember that it might be $100 a month at $20,000, for example. That $100 a month matters, especially to a car buyer that's buying a lower MSRP car. And so, of course, you could sit there and be like, well, of course, if the cars are more expensive, less people in the marketplace can afford them, and vice versa. Well, one of the things I want you to consider, you don't have to, but I'd like you to consider, is you probably are that franchise dealer, or you may be that franchise dealer that likes to pride yourself on having these nicer used cars. And so there's a bunch of $35,000 trucks or SUVs on your lot that you want to sell. I'm just telling you that pool drops dramatically. Let's say that since rates went up 50% or 80% or even double with a lot of dealers, actually some a little bit bigger, let's just assume that your market has shrunk to the same amount, right? So you can drive just as much traffic and get a lot less leads. Well, if you're sitting there going, I want more leads, you should shift with the market. I don't know what else to tell you. So just keep that in mind, that that's exactly what we're seeing here. Go ahead, Phil.
And lastly, we have a big announcement for you guys.
Yes, we do.
Fountain University. Steve, Go ahead, take it away.
Thank you. Fountain Forward University is a complete learning management system in partnership with Allen Ram's Proactive Training Solutions. We have been building a great audience for our dealers. We've been helping them convert, but now at level 3, the sales training, we finally have the the bow tie, if you will. And this comes down to making sure all of your salespeople are trained and have passed the quizzes. All of your sales managers. We also suggest our dealers and general managers do it as well. The 1st and 15th webinars that are done by the actual training team at Allen Ram, including recordings, and then also including secret shoppers. This is going to be available to all of our current Fountain Ford clients for a massively discounted rate. Some of you, it'll be available as complimentary, in which will not include the actual secret shoppers, but it will be announced formally, or excuse me, it'll start formally on August 1st, and you will be seeing it in your monthly meetings. And if you're a prospect and not currently a client of Fountain Ford, the Automotive Accelerator is officially complete, and you better get in while you can. So another great month. We appreciate your time. Month of June with those used car prices is definitely quite interesting. I know a lot of guys that have $1 million in vehicles or more on their lot, and those are now worth $950,000. So a little bit interesting, and it's especially going to be interesting to see what happens to new car prices. So we think those incentives are definitely going to pick up. Phil, anything else?
That's the Automotive Market Minute. I'm Phil.
I'm Steven. We'll see you next month.
Thanks.